Okay. Are we getting audio now? We are! Awesome. Let me just check it. On the stream on my phone, Gotta keep up. On the stream. Yes, audio. Okay, awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, how goes it? How is everyone doing? Let me close out YouTube on my phone. Leave that open. And then jump over into here. Boom! We're on air. Ladies and gentlemen, how goes it? This is your host, MDog967. Or you could just call me Matt. That works too. Like, I don't have a problem with just being called Matt. Yeah. I have to pull up the stream on my phone again anyway to monitor chat so that. Yeah. My brain. What a wonky place. Oh, are y'all just getting like a corner? Yes, you are. So let me hit F12. F12 again. Go to OBS, display capture. Oh, no. Ah, son of a. It always does this to me. I don't understand. So, display capture. So, anybody know how to work this out? Like, genuinely, anybody know how to fix this with OBS? I can never get this. I mean, it works decently in Minecraft, but, like, and mind you, the word decent comes with a very big scoop of table salt. Y'all aren't getting my full screen, though, so. Capture cursor. Capture map. Okay. Does that fix things? Son of a. Display capture. It says it's capturing this, but then I look on there and it's not. So, what I gotta do. Right there. Fit to that. Now, what are you guys seeing? Perfect. Okay. What the fuck? Hold on. Right click. Properties. Automatic. Okay. As long as it's capturing the entire screen. That's what we need. Can I save this? Can I save this scaling? Of course I can't. Alrighty. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're on air. We're live. Is anybody out there? Can anybody hear me? Or is this just an exercise in futility? I get that it's probably an exercise in futility. I have very few subscribers, and what subscribers I do have doesn't watch my videos. What the hell? Oh, don't want to go all the way back to there. Yeah, See, I've got 355 subscribers, and you people just don't watch my videos. And like, I can't really say I blame you. Because I don't make very many videos. The most popular video on my channel is from 4 years ago. Oh, that one's interesting. Very, very interesting. But yeah, no, how's it going, everybody? I'm your host, Matt M Dog, whatever you want to call me. I gotta be honest with you guys. I gotta be honest with you. Excuse me, I'm tired. But I gotta be honest with you guys. The channel name MDog967. For those of you who don't know, it's something me and a buddy of mine came up with some time ago. You know, and his was going to be T-Dog. Mine was just M-Dog. His was T-Dog, you know. The 967 got added later because I needed to add numbers onto the end of it because numbers, I don't know. Man, I'm tired. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so that was the reasoning behind the naming of my channel. And you know, to be completely honest with you guys, like, I kind of cringe at it sometimes. Like, one buddy of mine, the channel that he had there for a while, he changed the name on it a lot because he just couldn't find a name that he felt stuck. And now he doesn't make any content whatsoever, but you know, he did change that name a lot, and so at the time I was like, that was like a couple years ago when he was changing the name a lot. And at the time, you know, I didn't think much of it. I was kind of just glanced right past it. You know, it wasn't something that at the time I was like, well, why? You know, like, I didn't really like care because, you know, your decision, you do you, boo. But at the same time, I was still like, well, why change it so much? But now, looking back at my own channel name, you know, I kind of get it. And I will admit, I've had this channel for good, like, wow, almost 6 years now, maybe even more than that. And in the time that I've had this channel, I will admit that I've had my moments where I'm like, well, do I want to change the channel name? Do I want to do that? Because it feels silly, and oh yeah, no, I've had this channel 7 years, but so I'm like, well, it feels silly. Should I keep that name? And then I was young at the time too. I was a lot younger, which was probably obvious from my videos, just how young I really was, and just the fact that, you know, I was a kid. It was probably really, really obvious. But so I was really young at the time, and you know, I tried telling some of my friends about my channel, and some people at school, and you know, doing so ended up getting me teased for my channel name. So you know, for the fact that I have a channel, it did gain me a couple subscribers, but still, in the end, I was more or less just teased for the whole thing, and like I get it, kids are immature, they're jerks. I was a kid once. I was a jerk. I've done things I'm not proud of. We all have. Nothing crazy illegal. Like I've just done stupid shit. Um, but and we all have. We've all done those things that we're not the proudest of. That we wish we could undo. Uh, and I've got my share of them. Um, but it life is weird. It's about moving on. It's about taking those experiences and rolling with what's dealt your with the hand you're dealt, rolling with the things that you're doing, the bullshit you have to put up with, rolling with that and just going with it. Because we're all dealt a shitty hand. I don't think there's a single one of us that isn't dealt a shitty hand. Everybody, everybody gets dealt a shitty hand. And it's a matter of recognizing what makes their hand shitty versus what makes your hand shitty. Is theirs shitty because, oh, well, they have to argue all the time with people? Is theirs shitty because everybody around them thinks they're a jerk because of something that they can't even control? Like, we all deal with shit. We all deal with a lot of shit. And like I said, life gets messy for all of us. And so like looking back, like it's just weird to think about that. Like when I started my channel, like I was so proud of like the name and like everything. Like I was so determined to just do this, and I figured this is just what I'm gonna be. This is gonna be who I am. This is what's going to get me places. And now it's not, and that's okay. Um, it's all right for things to not pan out how you thought they were going to when you were 13. Um, it's okay for things to change, and it's okay for that things you don't understand to happen, and for those things to cause a change in your life, and to bring about a difference. It's okay for those things to happen, and it's scary, but it happens, and there's nothing you can really do about it. Like I know that sounds like dark and depressing, and I'd be lying if I said that it's not depressing. Like I'd be lying. But sorry, I'm fiddling with the thing at the bottom of the screen. But I'd be lying if I said it's not depressing. I'd be lying if I said that we don't all deal with those things. And I'll admit I'm dealing with that now. Things have been a roller coaster for life lately, for a while. just get better, trying to just do better, be better. And it's a process. It takes time. But when you put that time into it, when you let that time go by, it's not as bad. When you actively work on changing over that span of time, it it doesn't hurt as bad as it did at first. It'll probably always hurt, especially if the change was going from being happy to not knowing what the hell is going on. It'll always hurt. You can never not hurt. Being hurt is a part of life. Being emotionally hurt is a part of life. Physically hurt, it's a part of life. It happens to everyone. We all face things that will hurt us in some way, shape, or form. And we all have people we love who they may love us and they may care very deeply about us, but at the moment we aren't what they need. And that's okay. It's okay to it's okay that you or I or whoever, isn't exactly what someone I love, you love, whoever, It's okay that we're not who our loved one needs. We're not what our loved one needs. And that's hard. It's hard to process. It's killing me. But when you get down to it, when you get down to the situation, when it comes to the hurt that comes from it, it's important to ask yourself questions like, well, yes, you are hurting, but they're hurting too. Is your hurting more important than theirs? No. No one's hurting is more important than anyone else's. When you hurt, and that's just that. It's not more important for me when I'm hurting to feel loved and understood than it is for my loved one who I'm not what they might need at the time. It's not more important for me to feel loved and understood than it is for them to feel loved and understood. But neither is it more important for them to feel loved and understood than it is for me to feel loved and understood. It's important that everyone in the situation feels loved, understood, cared for, believed in, comforted. And sometimes we just have to remove ourselves from a situation to find that comfort. Sometimes we have to take sometimes you have to take yourself out of the situation. And it's scary. it's genuinely terrifying. You don't always know what you're doing. You don't always know if this is going to be the right decision or not, or if you're going to end up feeling worse from it, but you have to try. And if things and when you have a loved one who's in that situation where they feel they need to remove themselves and walk away for a little bit to try and be better and feel better, when that's what happens, when you have that loved one in that situation, um, it's very easy to look at them and say, "Well, you removed yourself from me. You must not love me. So therefore, I'm done with you." It's an easy conclusion to come to. Well, obviously, you don't care about me. You don't love me. So why should I care about you? Why should I love you? Just get out of my life. It's easy to go to that point. But sometimes we need to recognize that the people in our life may be stepping away because they love us. They may be stepping away because they recognize that they might not be making you happy in the situation. Uh, they might not be happy for other reasons, as and with other things going on, and as much as they love and care about you, they need their space. They need to get away from it all. Find a way to cope. And that's okay. And when they're in that situation, the biggest thing you need to ask yourself is, do I know for a fact that they walked because they don't love me? Do I know for a fact that they're leaving and taking their space because they don't love me? Or are they just doing it because that's the best way for them to breathe, to love themselves more? And right after you ask yourself that, the next most important thing to ask yourself, actually even debatably more important thing to ask yourself, is, mind you, it depends on your answer. It depends on the answer. If the person is distancing themselves to better themselves, to feel better as themselves, to fix a problem they see in their own life, and they show you that they still care, they're just hurting and they just need time. When they're in that situation, it, things might not always it just because they still care about and love you doesn't mean that they're always going to be with you the way you want them to be with you. And you have to ask yourself, are you willing to be patient and show them love and support? Or is it better for you to move forward and say goodbye for the time? And there is no easy answer. There's never an easy answer, and in fact, I don't think easy answers genuinely exist when it comes to situations of emotion and pain. There's never an easy answer. Giving up is often viewed as an easy way out, the easy answer. It's the solution. It's what you need to do to because there's nothing else to do. So if you can't have it exactly as you want it, might as well give up on it, right? But see, there's a problem with that logic. Because especially when the situation is with a loved one, it's hard. Giving up on that loved one, cutting them out, saying goodbye because they're hurting and they needed something that wasn't you. They needed space, they needed somewhere they could go to get away from it. To just walk away from them in that situation, to just say, well, I give up, there's no point. That is a very difficult decision to try and make. That is almost an impossible decision to make because you love that person. You care about that person. You don't want to lose that person. And it hurts that they're going. It hurts that things are changing and they're trying and they it hurts that you couldn't be what they needed. It hurts that it wasn't you that they needed. Maybe they needed a friend. Maybe they needed no one. Maybe they just need something different. Whatever the case may be, it hurts. It always hurts. It's always going to hurt. It's never going to be easy. It's never going to not hurt. But it doesn't mean that they're done with you for good. It doesn't mean that they're giving up on you. It doesn't mean that they never want to see you again. It just means that they need something different at the time. Whatever that something different may be. Part of the reason why I feel so strongly in this situation is partly because it's something I've done before. Not in the exact way that I'm experiencing it with a loved one right now, but obviously situation was different, so things were different. But I'll admit that I've essentially done the same thing before. Things things weren't looking bright in the way I wanted them to, and I felt out of options, and I felt like I had nothing to rely on. I felt that I had no purpose almost. And because I had no purpose, because I felt that I had no purpose, that I had nothing to rely on, that I was essentially just there, I decided to go for the military. Air Force, you know. Don't think I'd do well in the Army or in the Marines. Um, a lot of respect to every single branch. I have a lot of respect for all military and all military personnel. Um, but the Air Force was where I felt I would have fit best. The place for me to go to find that purpose, discover myself, and and it was going well actually. It was going really well. I had a clear goal in mind for what I wanted to do for the first time, and everything was going great, and then I got COVID. Because I went into basic training in what was it, 2021? Yeah, I went to basic in 2021. I ended up being there for a total of like, I want to say I was there at the base for 3.5 months. Let's see, because I went in August. I start basic started like August 3rd. August, September, October, November, August, September, October. Yeah, I came home early November or early to mid November, so I was there for 3.5 months. I was at a Lackland Joint Base over in San Antonio. Um, after I didn't make it all the way through basic. I got COVID while I was actively in training, and sorry, I got a little distracted. I got COVID while I was actively in training there on base, and while I was there actively in training and whatnot, the protocol for COVID was essentially not essentially what the protocol for COVID was for the military at the time was anybody who catches COVID on the base got moved into what's normally a hotel on base. I believe it's for visiting family and friends, whatnot. Um, for whenever people graduated basic and all that. But after COVID, it got repurposed into the quarantine place. So what they did was when I caught COVID, they sent me over to that hotel. I got roomed with another guy, um, which was kind of weird to think about. Oh, I've got COVID. I'm supposed to stay away from all people, but you're gonna put me in a room with this person who I could give COVID to again, or they could give COVID to me again, depending on how long he's been there. He was there for a couple days before I was. He left a couple days before I did. Uh, I have his number. I'll have to check in on him. Really cool guy. I called him Birdman because his last name is the name of a bird. Um, Screw it, Partridge. If you're out there, if you're watching this, it's you, Birdman. I'll have to text you. Uh, if you're watching this, how's life? Sorry. But but so I was roomed with him for the for my stay there in quarantine. And when I got back, when I first got back to my flight, the the people it's for those of you who don't know what a flight is in Air Force basic training, it's your platoon essentially, the people you're dormed with and all that. Um, when I got back to my flight, um, the first day back, I didn't know this. Nobody had told me about this. Nobody said anything to me. I wasn't supposed to go just to normal PT in the morning. I was supposed to go to COVID recovery PT. I ended up going to just the normal PT, and when I got out, and what we were doing that morning was essentially the pacer test. Run back and forth as fast as you can, as much as you can. It was to work on stamina, running, whatnot, you know. Well, problem is when I got COVID, the main thing that affected me, the main problem I had with it was my stamina. Now, I won't try and confess to be the most active person on the planet. In fact, I can actively tell you that I'm not. I can be a rather inactive person at times, especially lately. I have lost weight, but um, I won't pretend to be the most active person on the planet, the most physically fit person on the planet. But leading up to basic, I had gotten in better shape. At that time, I had dropped, um, I think it was almost 15 to 20 pounds, just because I started dieting better to prepare myself. I did start trying to be more active. You know, I was being more active leading up to going into basic, and then in basic, PT every morning. And I suffered through it, don't get me wrong, I absolutely suffered through it. But I'd get through it. And it wasn't like I didn't make any progress at all. It was hell. It was absolute hell. But I did make progress, and my progress did get recognized whenever we were in PT, where I and the instructors, our MTIs, the military instructors, whoever was there over us that day. Mind you, an MTI military training instructor, essentially a drill sergeant, um, just different name. But whoever was there watching over us for the PT, whenever it was very clear that I couldn't go any further, that I was at my absolute limit for it, they didn't get mad. They'd see me struggling and pushing through it as hard as I could, and they wouldn't get mad. They'd just be like, "Okay, Ogle." Oh my gosh, I just gave out that. Wow, that spicy tidbit. Oh, y'all didn't hear that. I don't care if you did. But they'd be like, "Okay, you can stop now. You like you can take a breath now." Especially after getting COVID. Um, COVID killed my endurance so badly that in the morning during PT, um, later on, there were several mornings where I had to step aside and go off with the on base nurse, on the on site nurse, um, because my breathing became so erratic and my heart rate would skyrocket up to pushing 190 just because I couldn't breathe. My endurance was gone. Um, and I worked my ass off on it. I worked so hard for it. And but where I was going with this originally, but so that first day back, I didn't know I need to go to recovery PT. Nobody told me. The other people who were back from COVID never said anything to me. So I just went to normal PT, nearly died running back and forth. Um, Talked to an instructor, sat out, watched as everybody else kept going. And then the very night, and then got told about recovery PT by the people who didn't see me at recovery PT. They're like, "Oh, why didn't you come?" Nobody told me. No one told me. Oh, we got to do this. And then the very next day, they got rid of recovery PT for COVID. Like, you can't make this shit up. The very next day, when I was going to go and start doing the recovery PT, we were told, you will no longer be doing the recovery PT. It is no longer mandated. So it's no longer mandated for COVID, so we got rid of it. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys that COVID is the absolute worst disease, virus, whatever on the planet. And I'm not here to go into any of the bullshit around it with politics on either side. I stay away from that subject. Because I talk to everybody about it, and I hear crazy conspiracy shit on both sides of it. So I'm not here to talk about that. I'm just saying, what's ridiculous, what is absolutely ridiculous, is the government decided to go, hey, these people who are really sick with this virus that's been going around that kind of locked down the entire country, and they caught it while they were here trying to join the military, and they might not be doing very well after having had that sickness. You know how they might be kind of struggling to breathe because it really affects the lungs. It's kind of affecting the heart, it's affecting the lungs, so, they might be having a bit of a hard time. This might be kind of hard on them. Maybe, and you know how we have that thing in place so that they can still be active and try to get better and get to the point that they need to without just thrusting them straight into their normal PT. Yeah, fuck that, man. We're just gonna thrust them right back into normal PT. We're just gonna tell them, you know what? You're you're not gonna take time to recover. You're not going to build up through easier exercises that will lead you in that direction better. We're not going to have you do that. We're just going to make you go out there with your lungs that catch on fire if you run for 2 seconds and make you run 1.5 miles anyways. And it and it was because of that I ended up in Medhold. Um, and at first, I was thinking about, I was thinking, hey, I'll take my time to recover here, and then I can start over in a new flight, and I can graduate basic with that flight, and it'll be all right, and and I'll have made it, and I'll have done it. And then I was there in Medhold for longer than I was ever in my flight. I made it to the first day of the 7th week of basic training before getting sent to Medhold. I passed every test. Um, I passed every inspection. I passed every drill test. I passed the push ups. I passed the sit ups. And by the time that it got to that mile-and-a-half run, I pushed and I pushed so hard, and I was right there running alongside one of my buddies, and as I was running, as I was going, as I was pushing and pushing and pushing, I just couldn't breathe. My heart rate was at almost 200. I couldn't breathe. Um, I was starting to black out there on the track, and I looked at him, the buddy from my flight that I was running with. I looked at him. I nearly cried as I did because I looked at him and I said, "I'm sorry, I can't keep up." And he went, and he kept going, and he passed, and I'm proud of him for it. And he walked back to the dorm with me. We went to the showers, got showered, uh, went over to the breakfast hall um, at the dorm building across the way, because our entire dorm was over at Beast, which is week 7. Um, week 7 of basic training is Beast Week. It's the tactical field training week. Um, and our flight had left that morning, and but we went back, we showered, we went over, had breakfast. Uh, I got walked over to the on base doctor's office, whatnot. Um, Explained everything, and then my buddy who had ran with me, whatnot, while I was talking to the doctors and everything, he had to go, and I when I got finished there in the doctor's office and everything, I walked back out, and he wasn't there, and there were people there to pick me up, and I went back to my dorm, um, gathered my belongings, and got sent over to Medhold. And I met some great people in Medhold. Don't get me wrong. I met some absolutely amazing people in Medhold. I met some really great people in there, and who I became really good friends with. Um, but so at first I was determined, oh, I'll get better and I'll go graduate with a different flight and then I'll live this dream, do this thing that I want to do. And and my medical appointments were so extremely spaced out because of how many people were on base and how many people were being sent to med hold every single day. Um, the day my flight graduated, I still had only had maybe one appointment so far with the doctors and everything, and it was at that point that, knowing that they were graduating without me and that I was this far behind, knowing that just kind of broke me. And I fell into a depression at that point. Um, or rather, my depression popped back up. Um, my feelings of worthlessness, of lacking somewhere, that like lacking a goal, um, feeling that there was no purpose in what I was doing. There was no point because I didn't want to sit there and just recycle through and recycle through and recycle through over and over and over. And I just wanted to go home. And so when nothing really came of any of the diagnostics, any of the tests, anything that they ran on me, my endurance was just shot, and I couldn't run, and I needed to build it back up again. But when it got to that point, and I was sat down with the doctor discussing what I wanted to do, I had been feeling so miserable for so long, at least a month at that point, that I just said, I want to go home. And about 2 weeks later, I did just that. It didn't help, though. I came out of the situation angry with myself. Holding on to this feeling of why. What was the point then? Why'd you do it if you were just going to give up? Why? You failed. You failed. This makes you a failure. You failed. And sorry. Tired. Ugh. And that feeling of failure pushed me to move out from living with my parents and my younger siblings, just because those feelings were weighing very heavily on my mind. And I was just too irritable, too stressed, too upset, too easily upset. So I moved in with one of my friends and his parents. Stayed there for a while. Sorry again. Oh, maybe I need a nap. But stayed there with him while we were working this at the same place. Um, and originally the plan was for he and I to get a place together. That didn't work out. So, he had things he wanted to focus on instead. Um, namely, he wanted to get his own car because at the time he wasn't using a car of his own. He was using one of his parents to be able to get place to place, whatnot. Yeah, so went separate with went our separate ways with that situation. I haven't talked to him much since. Um, don't know if he really wants to talk to me. Hope he does. Still one of my best friends, and I still know that if I needed him, I could count on him. At least that's what I'm going to tell myself to feel better about the situation. but but so like with the whole needing to leave a situation, fully leave a situation in order to try and feel better is something I fully understand. It's what I did with the military. It's it's the reason why I was going into the military, because everything else in life just was too stressful. There was so much going on that it overwhelmed me and I needed to get away. And when I got back home and ended up going to move in with my friend Cam, he's been in the background of my live streams before. But when I did that, my parents weren't happy. They I kind of just more or less just got a hold of them one day as I was getting to work, and I'm like, I'm gonna move out. I need to move out. It's what I need to do for myself. I'm sorry. And things went from there. But they had every right to be upset with me. They had every right to never want to talk to me again. But that wasn't what they did. What they did was give me my space, give me my time. And when I was ready to open up to them and talk to them again and be around them again and everything, they were right there. And so that's what I'm doing. with my whole situation with a loved one who needs their space right now, and and kind of just left to be able to get their space. That's how I'm treating the situation. Is I'm going to give that space, keep in contact. I'm keeping in contact, but I'm going to allow that space so that when that person is ready to come back, they know that I'm still here for them. They know that I still care. I'm giving them their space, but keeping in contact and letting them know I still care. And I'm gonna try and work on some things with myself too. I'm going to work on getting a lot of my depression worked out. Because I'm tired of it. Tired of being miserable. So I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna work on my depression, my anxiety, those feelings, you know, and being in contact with that person. I'm like, hey, they're like, just go better yourself, go grow without me, and I want to support you through what you're going through. So if you'll support me with this, then so why don't we support each other? Because and they told me that they still want to support me through the things I go through, be there for me, help me reach that point where I'm feeling happier, where I'm feeling better, and so I'm like, hey, let's both do that for each other. Let's be that source of support for each other. And if you need me, I'm right here. And I'd like to think that if I need you, you're here for me. And they said, okay, let's do that. Are things exactly how I want them to be? No. No, not in the slightest. But it's a situation where I'm actively choosing to continue to love and support someone I care very deeply for because I know they need it right now. So is it exactly what I want? No. Do I wish the situation was completely different from what it is? Oh, you can fucking bet on it. But regardless of what I want, I'm going to show this support to this person. Because not only because it's the right thing to do when that person is with this person struggling and being in need of support, because I can guarantee their family isn't exactly being that support. Being that support for this person in their time of need, when they're struggling with the things they're struggling with, when they're going through what they're going through, when they're feeling the way they're feeling. And they've told me that they just needed a way out. If I were to just walk away now, there's no way that could be the right thing to do. If I were to just give up on this person I care about, when they need that support, if I were to do that, then I would have no right to expect anyone to be there to support me whenever I'm struggling, whenever I'm going through something difficult and just need space. Because I know that when I was in that situation, what mattered to me most was the continued support I had from the people I care about and who care about me. And even though I had walked away from some of those people to try and better myself, even though I had done that, I still cared about them. I still loved them. I still wanted to be around them. I just needed my time. And so I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't try. I'd be a hypocrite and an asshole if I didn't put in the effort now toward this person who I know needs it, who I know still cares. And was I the person that they came to for help on all of it? No. Was I the person that they just, that when they felt this way, they came to me and said, I want your help? No, I wasn't. But that's okay. It's okay to not be the person that someone needs when they're hurting. It's okay. It may hurt to recognize that you're not the person they need at the time. It may hurt to know that they went to a different friend or loved one and asked for their help instead of yours. It may hurt. It's gonna hurt. But unless that person tells you, I'm done with you, I never want to see you again. Not in the first couple days. The first couple of days are gonna be chaotic. Because everything is right there, fresh on the mind. All the pain, all the reasons for going, all the reason for wanting to be gone, and the fear of doing it. Don't get me wrong, going into the military was terrifying for me. It scared the shit out of me. Did I enjoy my experience? Yes, but when I got there, when I was in that moment of starting to follow along this path that I was following, was I fully prepared for that? Hell no. I rethought it every 5 minutes. I was rethinking it constantly, but it was what I needed at the time. So I had to do it. I couldn't let anything get in the way of that. And I didn't. Did it work out? No. But that's okay because the people who love and care about me were here for me when it didn't work out. And they were there to support me for if it did. They showed me that support regardless of if it worked out or not. And that's what I needed. That's what I needed more than anything at all, was just that support. That we do care. We're still here. And when I went to move in with my friend, we do care. We're still here. We're hurt, but we're still here. Y'all, I'm not gonna preach to you about second chances or, oh, you should always, just drop it and move forward like nothing happened. No, don't. That's not what I'm trying to get at with this. Some situations when somebody does something to push you away or to leave, they do it. Sometimes they do it to hurt you. And sometimes when they're gone, that is goodbye. It's just how it goes sometimes, sadly. Sometimes when they're gone for good. And none of us know what the future holds. None of us know what's going to happen 5 minutes from now, let alone weeks, months, years. No one knows. Anything could happen. Anything at all. But what we have to do is just be patient. If the person who made that change and who took themselves out of that situation to better themselves, to feel better, whatever their reason may be, if that person shows you that they still care and that they still want to be there for you, try being there for them. Even if things change in a way you don't like, just try it. Try being there for them. There's something, and who knows, maybe, just maybe, being there for them like that, doing that for them, maybe that's exactly what they need. Maybe that's exactly the thing that's going to make it to where they want to come back. Maybe that's exactly the thing that will heal the pain they are in. Who knows? It may just end out working out all for the better. And if it does, awesome. In the end, regardless of what happens, when you think about it, it all works out for the better. It always works out for the better, regardless of if that's the better you want or not. It'll work out in the end, and it'll work out for everyone involved, one way or another. If things don't go well for that person while they're trying to do this to better themselves, be there for them. Be that source of love and support. Be right there if it doesn't work out. But be there for them if it works out too. If it works out and they're better and they're doing better afterward, and them doing better, even if it means that, even if them doing better, them feeling better, even if that means they're feeling better because, let's say it was your girlfriend or your boyfriend, and they did this to, and they wanted to take time to work on themselves and better themselves, and you guys put things on pause. If bettering themselves means they end up with someone else, it's gonna hurt. But if you love that person, genuinely love and care about that person, support them through it. You never know. Maybe they left, maybe they put that distance there because they were scared of hurting you. Because they knew that there was a chance that they needed to be with someone else to help them feel better. And they didn't want to hurt you by cheating on you or anything like that. And so they made the distance. They took that time for themselves to work on themselves. And they've found someone else. It's okay. It sucks. I know it sucks. But it's okay. See, that's the thing about love. Love isn't, at least love shouldn't be conditional or contractual. You shouldn't love someone just because they're with you. Or, in a relationship especially, you shouldn't show love to someone just because they show it to you. You should show love to someone because you love them. You should show love to someone because you want to, not because you get something out of it. That's not real love. If you can only love someone because you're getting something out of of the situation, if you only love them for your benefit, that's not real love. That's not love at all. What's the band? Um, I can't think of the name, but one of their most popular songs um, is it's called "When You Let Her Go," and the chorus is because you only need the light when it's burning low, only miss the sun when it starts to snow, only know you love her when you let her go, only know you've been high when you're feeling low, only hate the road when you're missing home, only know you love her when you let her go. If letting go of someone doesn't hurt, doesn't shatter you inside, do you really love them? If you can just let go and drop them because you're no longer getting anything from them, and so you no longer care, did you really love them? Another song that goes great the into that feeling that that asks you to question your love for someone, asks you to question that. And another song that's great about it is by Lucas Graham called "Love Someone." I actually know Lucas. I listen to a lot of Lucas Graham, so I know that one. But um, his song "Love Someone" poses the question in its chorus: if you love some, well, poses the statement in its chorus, or in its, yeah, in the chorus. If you love someone and you're not afraid to lose them, you've probably never loved someone like I do. And in a way, he's posing, and if you ask me, he's kind of posing a question with that. It's a statement, but it's a question as well. And the question that's being posed is, are you scared to lose the one you love? Are you scared of losing them? Does it scare you? And if it doesn't, how the hell does it not? Why aren't you scared of losing the one you love? Now, mind you may be in. There's a chance that, obviously there are going to be people out there who are in very secure, very happy relationships and who have no reason to be afraid that they're going to lose the one they love. But if you ask me, those relationships are the ones where you should be the most terrified of losing the one you love. When that love is so genuine and so comforting that you know you have nothing to fear, when you know that this person will always be here for you, that's when you should be terrified the most of losing that person. Because when you lose that person, you lose someone who genuinely loved you. Losing that person will hurt you more than anything. That's the person I'm terrified of losing. And that's the person I refuse to lose. And that's the person I'm going to love and support through their decision. It's their decision, it's not mine. when it comes to other people's decisions, we only really have 2 or 3 options. We can't make other people's decisions for them, sorry. We can make our own decisions, but we can't make other people's decisions. And so, all you can do is respond to somebody's decisions. You can respond positively. You can respond negatively. You can respond positively and walk away. Or you can respond negatively and stay. So, and here, I'll clarify the first positive and negative. You can respond positively and stay and be that support. I'll just clarify everything. What I'm saying is, you can choose to respond positively and say, I care about you, I love you, you're going through something and you need support right now, and so I want to support you through it. You can respond negatively. I can't believe you would do this to me. You broke me worse than I can. You hurt me, and so I can't be around you anymore. I'm sorry. And leave. You can respond positively and leave. You can respond positively and say, I understand that this is what you need for yourself. And I'm going to be here for you. Or not be here for you, sorry. That confused me. That's why I went quiet. Ugh. No, but you can respond positively and walk away by saying, like, I understand this is what you needed for yourself. I understand this is what you needed to do for yourself, for your own betterment. I understand that. It's your decision. I can't change your mind, but I don't think I can support it. I wish you the best. Please stay safe. Or you can respond negatively and stay. And this is the one I heavily recommend against. And anybody who does this, stop. Because when you respond negatively and stay, you're not fixing the problem. You're not helping the situation. If you're going to respond negatively, walk away. If your response is just, you broke me, you hurt me, how dare you, and you stay and remind that person every day just how much they broke you, or if not every day, every chance you get, remind them how much they hurt you, remind them what they did, how they affected you. And you don't try and be supportive, you try and tear them down and make them feel worse for it. Leave that person the fuck alone. It's not okay. We all need to put ourselves first. We need to love ourselves first. And if you can't support your loved one trying to love themselves, leave them alone. They're probably already beating themselves up inside for walking away, for leaving, for going. They're probably already beating themselves up inside for having to make this decision. It's not an easy decision. They're scared, they're upset, they're already on the fence about it. They're already in pain. Don't add to their pain. add to yours. If you think being there, if you care about them, but you don't think that being supportive of what they're doing is right for you, if you think you're just going to get hurt more that way, walk away. If you think you can support them through it and accept whatever outcome, be there for them. But if you just can't accept the situation at all, not even for their sake, if you can't support them through it, don't be there. Don't be there for it. It's not worth it. You're just going to hurt yourself more, for one. And you're going to further drive away that person that loves you. If they did it because they never cared, walk away. There is no supporting that decision. If they tell you that they left because they just couldn't stand you, walk away. If they leave and within a week, let's say it's your girlfriend, I need some time to myself. I need some time to just be me. Okay. It sucks, but okay. But you keep in contact, you care about her. And then, if within a week or the first couple days, it's, oh, well, this is this new guy that I have feelings for and I'm going out with, or that I want to go out with, or if it's your boyfriend or whoever, this is the new person. I'm tossing you aside. I never actually wanted to be with you. Like when they act like that, just walk away. It's not worth it. I've been rambling for a little while now. So, my friends, I think I'm going to leave things on that note. Um, I guess you could say this podcast was this little live podcast here. I guess you could say that it was one to be taken with more of an emotional tone. How to handle difficult situations. Not even how to handle them. I guess the moral of everything I've said so far would be try and understand. Try and understand what's going on when you're hurting, when somebody hurts you. Try and understand. Try and understand what led them to what they did that hurt you. Just try. Give it a chance. And maybe things can get better from there. But if they hurt you to hurt you, if they hurt you just because they didn't care how it affected you, walk away. But if they still care about you, and they still love you and they still want to be there for you, give them their time. But make your decision carefully. Decide what's best for you. Because at the end of the day, it's just as important for you to be happy with your decision as it is for them to be happy. You need to be happy with what you're doing. They need to be happy with what they're doing. And if you're not happy, then don't hold on. It's okay. You're allowed to let go if it makes you happy. You're allowed to. It's okay. That's gonna be end. That's. I'm gonna leave it on that note, guys. Just because I don't want to be too depressing. I will admit, part of this podcast was also just to kind of allow me to get some things off of my own chest, breathe a bit. But yeah, anybody who watches this, because nobody watched it live, jerks. I'm kidding. I love you all. Anybody who's watching this after the fact, you're all watching it after the fact. But anybody who's watching this and made it to the end of this, thank you. Thank you for listening to my ranting and raving. And I hope you have a good day. Stay fresh out there, my friends. Have a good one. And I'll talk to you later.